か?
Okay, today we're going to utilize the brushes that I did in dubbing brush number 1 in manufacturing some flies. In front of me you can see that there are a couple that I just finished up. But in order to build these, obviously you have to make a dubbing brush first, but right now I'd like to show you how I build my way of building a small toad. Some monocord, wax monocord, a couple of dubbing brushes that have been made up. This is a 254 stainless steel size 1/0 eagle claw. I'll begin first by running a base of thread down the shank of the hook so the material doesn't slip. I like to use curved scissors for forming the heads. In this situation, for this fly, I'll take a tail, which is built out of the dubbing brush. Notice how this tail holds up quite well. It's a couple of different colors. It's white and it has some green in it. It has some flash in it. And like normal, we'll go ahead and apply the thread to hold it in place. I like to use a large pair of scissors to cut this because there is wire in here, and rather than take a chance on ruining a good pair of scissors, you might want to consider a set of or a pair of scissors like this. The different department stores sell them. They're inexpensive and they do a pretty darn good job. Alright, I like to run the thread down and back a couple of times to make sure I secure it. You can put a dash of super glue or any other cement on here at this particular time. You can add legs. I forego the legs. I like to make them as simple as I possibly can so you get an idea how quick they can go together. This dubbing brush I made a little bit earlier, so we wouldn't have to fool around with going through that. But the dubbing brush is made out of CCT, which is Cascade Crest Tools. They're what we have called the Phony Fox. Again, a play on words, fox being really F-A-U-X or phony foe. But rather than try to use Arctic fox or some other natural furs, we found that this material just literally breathes in the water, and to be quite frank with you, on a lot of patterns it looks like it's almost alive. I like to bring it down to within about 1/8 of an inch or thereabouts from the eye of the hook. Then I'll tie it off and make sure that I get a pretty good tie-in point or a tie-off point here. Again, save your good scissors. Small or medium lead eyes. We'll tie that in place. Building brushes is really, it's kind of a unique thing. There are some dubbing brush machines that are available on the market. Cascade Crest Tools has a large dubbing brush machine. The dubbing brush machine that's sitting to the back of my desk, I designed, and it builds a 22-inch brush. I'm not going to build brushes 8 inches long to tie flies with, because to be quite frank with you, you might only get 2 flies, possibly 3 out of a brush. And if I'm going to build flies for some of the guides, some of the captains, friends of mine, I need to make sure that I'm building enough brushes for them, and in order to create the flies. Take a old toothbrush, or buy a new one if you choose, cut it down just a little bit in order to brush out the material. It really works best. I've tried all kinds of brushes. Some were entirely too stiff. Some were just not stiff enough. These are ergonomic. They fit your finger quite well. Remove from the vise. Take a look at it, see how your material is spread out. And then just take a pair of curved scissors, and you can cut this to any size that you want to. You could trim it any way you desire. You could make it more round, you can make it more oblong. The choice is really yours. You're the one building the fly. You're the one that knows what you're trying to accomplish, what you want to build, how you want it to look when you fish it, or sell it if that may be the case. There is a very simple toad constructed, as you can see, rather quickly. You could tweak your trimming a little bit more. You can, obviously you're going to apply some cement here. I like to take just regular water-based cement and apply it to the back here to hold the fibers out. But these fibers will actually move in the water. You can buy these fibers from Bob Story at Feathercraft. He sells the Phony Fox. But to go back and give you some idea of what you can do, if I can show you, this was tied with Fire Tiger Polar Flash, or built with that. This was built with a different Polar Flash. This is built with Phony Fox in white, believe it or not, with a green flash within it. And it just, they go on and on and on. The amount of things that you can build with the brush machine is just unlimited. Or, you know, it's whatever you think, whatever you want to tie, whatever you're trying to replicate. The larger ones that you see here I use for collars, like the collar on this pike fly. Smaller ones for toads, for toads that are all one color. Take this brush for instance. That brush, if you look at it, you can almost tie that on the front of a hook with some eyes, and that's a small minnow. That's how these brushes work, and this is what they would look like in the water, except that they breathe when they're made out of this material. You can tie or build brushes for whatever you're going to fish for. You could use Phony Fox from Cascade Crest Tools, which is available again from Bob Story at Feathercraft. You could use synthetic yak hair, which I use for building big heads like this, when building big flies for payara or peacock bass in South America, or pike flies. You can use near hair, fish hair, craft fur, polar flash, sparkle flash. You can add all kinds of flash to it. You can add polar flash to the materials that you're using. You could add angel hair. You can add fibers. CCT makes a real nice angel fiber. But the colors are unlimited as to what you could actually build, what you could make. These are all brushes that, and this is just only a few of the many, many different brushes I make. And it's just, you can build just about any type of fly that you want to. Shrimp patterns, mantis shrimp, crab patterns. I have some here that, I don't know what I did with them. Let me see here. Here they are right here. You can see the color combination here, making some mottled crabs. You have to experiment. Most all fly tyers are creative, and being creative, you have your own ideas about how you want to do things. Get yourself a dubbing brush machine. Contact Feathercraft and ask them about it. Build one yourself if you have a desire to do so, but I can tell you that it's a chore. Mine is electric. Mine works off of a rheostat, and it's all built out of, this particular one is built out of, excuse me now, my mind left, a walnut, and it's, you can see that the slide moves in or out to allow the wire to wind up when you're applying your material. The tray comes up and holds in place to apply the material. And if you're not using one of these, you certainly can buy them. They are on the market. They can be a little pricey, but then again, it can get a little pricey if you want to build your own, but nowhere near what it is as far as buying them. They're pennies on dollars when you build them. But when you build them, you can create flies like no one else has ever created, because they're basically your idea. That's Phony Fox. Look at it. It's got wire in it, yet it looks like it's alive. You need to try this, fellas. You need to really take the time to get involved with this. If you like building flies, if you like experimenting, saltwater flies, freshwater flies, it doesn't make any difference. South American flies, Alaskan flies. We've tied them up for guys fishing in Alaska and British Columbia, where we were able to be one-dimensional. In really wild purple colors, pink colors, red colors, orange colors, various shades of pink and purple together. Put a tail on it, wrap it up the shank of the hook, throw it out there, let it swim in the current, and salmon, steelhead, and all that. It's endless. You need to get involved. If you have an interest in it, call Bob Story, call Evan at Feathercraft in St. Louis, call Pat Dunlap at CCT, which is Cascade Crest Tools, out in Central Point, Oregon, if you have any questions, or you can contact me. I'll have my email at the end of this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email. I'll be more than happy to help. Always remember that knowledge is something you can give away and still keep. It doesn't cost you anything to teach somebody else how to do something. And you could have a lot of fun getting other people involved and having fun themselves. So there you have it. This is basically, there'll be many more videos to follow, but for the time being, there you have it. And like I said, if you have any questions, please contact any of us, and we'll be glad to help you. Thank you.